Today we're talking about the evolution of the mobile phone. Before the revolutionary development of the telephone, people were still able to communicate over long distances, albeit with much greater latency and labor requirements. One of these methods was the telegraph, an electronic device that was used to transmit messages using coded beeping and buzzing, invented and brought into wide use in 1838. It saw its golden age in the late 19th to early 20th century. It was difficult to operate as the user needed substantial knowledge of the device's operation and to be fluent in Morse code as well. Furthermore, with the rapid technological advancements during the Industrial Revolution, the telegraph, which had, quote, astounded observers and brought excited crowds to demonstrations, would be summarily dethroned by the invention of the telephone by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. However, long-distance communication did not find its genesis in the telegraph. The first common mode of communication was the postal service, and from this report on the services of the Tudor state of 16th century Royal Britain sum up exactly how this mode of communication fared. It was said by Ian Cooper in the journal publication History that the majority of researchers describe the system of carried postage as insufficient, unreliable, slack, slow, and tardy. You see, to send a message through the means of postage would mean to limit the transit time of your message to the physical transport capabilities of that time. You would need to carry paper letters across rugged and dangerous terrain just to relay messages between two people. It is important to keep in mind that the transportation infrastructure, like the interstate highway system in the United States, would not even begin construction until the mid-1950s under the Eisenhower administration, a near 400 years before the Tudor Crown's implementation of the postage system.
Prior to the first mobile phone, other forms of cellular communication were in use. Mobile communication began to evolve in the early 20th century when German company Zug Telefone AG began supplying mobile phones for use in train cars in Germany. Mobile radio usage was widespread in the Second World War for communications amongst platoons during battle, and by the middle of the century, mobile telephones had found their way into American automobiles but required large amounts of power and had other limitations. After decades of research, development, and contributions from various mobile communications firms, a working prototype of the first portable personal cell phone was achieved. According to James Hardy of History Cooperative, on April 3, 1973, the first mobile phone call was made by Dr. Martin Cooper, an engineer for Motorola and the inventor of the mobile phone. A prototype of the cell phone titled the Motorola Dynatac 8000X was used to make the call. Cooper called his rival Joel Engel from Bell Labs and said, "Joel, I'm calling you from a real cellular telephone, a portable handheld telephone. The phone would allow 30 minutes of talk time and require 10 hours of charging." 10 years and $100 million in development costs later, and the Motorola Dynatac 8000X was available to the public for purchase. In an interview with BBC, Martin Cooper stated, "We believed people didn't want to talk to cars and that people wanted to talk to other people. So you could assign a number not to a place, not to a desk, not to a home, but to a person." It was this powerful thinking that led to the creation of the first mobile cell phone available for consumer use, launched the birth of the mobile phone market, and marked the beginning of decades of great technological improvements in mobile communications.
The next 10 years were relatively slow in terms of technological advances, with several similar models to the Dynatac 8000X popping up. This all changed in 1992 when Nokia launched its 1011 model, the first mobile phone that could be used anywhere in the world. This was thanks to the ability to access the global system for mobile communication network, often referred to as the second generation 2G of wireless cellular technology. A few years later, in 1996, came Nokia's legendary communicator line. It was the first of its kind. He also served as inspiration for the company RAM, the mobile phone company that made its name for creating the BlackBerry. 9000 Communicator featured a full keyboard as well as being one of the first phones with the ability to send and receive emails and fax via JMS modem. And 1996 was also the year in which the first clamshell phone came along, often described as the flip phone. It was the first phone to be branded as a luxury product. It weighed just 88 grams and was small enough to fit in your pocket, although it was marketed as a wearable phone due to its ability to clip onto items of clothing. As we have seen before, 1996 welcomed several new groundbreaking phones, but it also marketed the very start of the non-contract phone packages. According to Flout Digital, in 1996, UK mobile phone ownership stood just 16% of households. 10 years later, this figure was a staggering 80%. Experts believe this is mainly due to the impact that pay-as-you-go contracts had on the accessibility of mobile phones for average consumers. 3 years after Nokia launched the communicator line, BlackBerry entered the professional mobile phone market with its first model, the BlackBerry A50. It was a very basic version of the BlackBerry that a lot of us were familiar with in the 2000s, featuring a keyboard as well as the ability to send and receive emails and browse the internet.
But as the millennium turned, the mobile phone landscape was about to get even more personal. Nokia 3310 released in the year 2000 a phone that would become nothing short of an icon in the mobile world. This Nokia was more than just a phone, it was a cultural phenomenon. Renowned for its sturdy build, able to withstand the bumps and drops of daily life, it also boasted an impressive battery life, an intuitive user interface, and customizable features. It made, it made texting and playing games like Snake 2 part of daily life. While it didn't have the BlackBerry's email capability, it was the most reliable tool for its time for communication, tough enough to handle life's knocks, and simple enough for everyone to use. As we fast forward to 2003, we witnessed a major shift in the mobile connectivity with the introduction of the first 3G contracts in the UK, setting the stage for a new era of faster internet speeds and more dynamic mobile services. Motorola Razr V3, launched at the end of 2004, was a cultural icon that changed the mobile market. Its sleek, ultra-thin flip phone design was a significant departure from the bulky phones of the past. The Razr V3 wasn't just about looks, it boasted 3G connectivity, a camera for capturing those memorable moments, video recording capabilities, and Bluetooth technology. With internet browsing and a host of new MP3 ringtones, it was a multimedia powerhouse that fit in your pocket. It was the beginning of phones being able to contain lots of functionalities. Following the remarkable success of the Motorola Razr V3, in 2007, Nokia's launch of the N95 marked a pivotal shift towards the smartphone era. This device was a multimedia powerhouse with 160 megabytes of internal memory, expandable storage, dedicated media controls, and most importantly, for its time, an advanced 5 megapixel camera with extensive imaging options. Its camera was bigger than the screen size. Beyond entertainment, it boasted Wi-Fi, a vast number of applications, and even video calling capabilities, capturing nearly half of the global smartphone market in 2007.
Now, having seen the evolution of phones, let's have a look at the current phones today. As you are probably aware, the current phone market is dominated by iPhone and Android. Apple is now on the iPhone 15, whereas the Google Pixel 8 is getting great reviews. Phones today are designed to make your life as easy as possible. This is done by getting rid of the need to carry your wallet, record videos with camera-like quality, listen to music, or have live GPS, and everything in between. Phones now also have increased security measures as well, which includes facial and finger recognition to replace passwords in case of a breach. With phones and just technology in general today constantly being improved upon, who knows what the phone of the future will look like and how they will shape the world.